Hello, hi, welcome to the Vertex of Abundance presents Spiritual Report. So this is the spiritual report brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess of Losi. I will be your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for the Venusian ingress into Libra. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. It is a delight and an honor and a privilege to serve. Thank you for allowing us the pleasure to do so. If anything resonates deeply with you, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, book a session, send a donation. Vertex of Abundance is the Galactic Temple of Ascension. You belong, so welcome home. Here we deliver sacred messages from behind the veil. If anything resonates deeply with you, as we said, go ahead and smash that like button. Today we will be imposing the guidance from Thoth Tarot. That's by Aleister Crowley, illustrated by Lady Frida Harris, published by US Game System. Just a quick prayer for all those still lost out there to illusion, delusion, confusion, lost in the seas of time, trapped somewhere in the matrix, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return to the resplendent grace of the divine's unconditional love and universal oneness. Anapana, we love you. We're sorry. Please forgive us. Thank you. We ask that our steps be ordered, our path be illuminated, and that we find salvation and redemption in this lifetime. May we be happy. May we be whole. May we be at peace. May we receive everything we ever wanted, starting with what we deserve. I mean, we will, as I said, impose the guidance from Thoth Tarot. We will deliberate the findings from Cosmic Coven Tarot. That's the Minor Arcana by Lillian Lazenby over at Rife Avocado. And again, that'll be to clarify any type of pairing or matching energy. We'll also be using Vida Sibila by Los Garabello as well to deliberate additional findings, and those will be to clarify any type of correlative or corresponding energy. We do use other oracle decks. Those will be illuminated, elucidated, and enumerated at the time upon which they are used. Let us begin. We're going and heading towards this new energy. It can be a new beginning. The Fool combined with the Lover's card could be a new guide, a new individual energy on our spirit team. It could be a new environment surrounding location. The Lovers also talks about people, places, and things, so a new person, place, or thing. It can talk about new soul group unions, new choices that talk about path work. When this talks about a new choice, little lesser known fact, when the choice in the Lover's card comes about, it typically is talking about aligning into the highest vibrational timeline outcome of a situation or a cycle. So we have the King of Swords clarifying this Lover. So we could be dealing with the Gemini sun sign. If it's a Gemini midheaven, that would make it a Virgo rising as well. So the fortress or the precipice of some kind of situation here. We might end up attending to the situation or finding the medicine in something that should have been attended to. Right now, it seems trivial, surface level, superficial, but it's actually reached a terminal point. It's gotten to its most highest level of maturation or growth. Let's talk a little bit about this. So during the Libra season, Venus will be transiting the Libra sign, so that'll be mostly bringing onto our path unions, alignments in terms of refinement, sensibility, diplomacy, tact, grace, It will bring in the higher, elevated aspects of partnerships, unions, and the sun will move into Scorpio during that cycle because Venus will be moving through Libra, also the first week of the Gregorian calendar month of November, which will include the second week of the Scorpio season. So that'll give us a 12th house event as well. So there's going to be some aspects here where we're also purging some of the hidden elements. We're purging some of the pre-incarnational agreements or the aspects, energies, entities that kind of override us in ways it may look like going over our head or behind our back or out of our hands, really beyond our power, beyond our scope, beyond our control. It's going to help that the first half or the first kind of entry into the cycle, we're dealing with things that we can't control, really sense and sensibilities, policy, procedure, protocol, refinement, really, honestly. So it is kind of the etiquette or the code, yet we do get to inform some of it, or at least we'll come across it in a way where we can acclimate it without sacrificing anything really, but definitely without sacrificing our power. That's not going to last, however. So I would pay particular attention. So what I know thus far is there's something within our power we can react to, respond to, attend to. It has to deal with some kind of connection. We might not be into this connection anymore. Said differently, it's possible that we've withdrawn from it with this Eight of Cups. Mirrored here, though, is some type of energy to continue to put into this. It's actually asking that something that was built or mounted be acknowledged. It may be that the other side mirroring this energy, whether it's a person or former aspect of the self, the primal soul in this soul group, something still wants to kind of try again. There's also something that's going to be panning out. So if we give nothing to it, it's going to take another couple of weeks, 2 weeks or so. So maybe around the 29th, 30th, by Halloween, this energy can dissipate. The 31st, All Hallows Eve. I want to clarify a few things we're about to move on from. So what is this new love or new soul group or new choice or new, again, the same card came out, Casa. La Casa means fortress, the precipice, making it inside, something that's strengthened or it's made an institution. It could talk about the life that we're building itself or the structure of anything. If it's a union, whether it's a friendship or the marriage partnership, if it's a job, we could talk about the structure, maybe the life of the career, etc. Something here structural is going through some change or transformation. So some of the reasons why things have been stuck or not panning out or difficult are going to be made known. We're going to learn some things about why things weren't working or fitting. There was kind of the perfect person, or we were the perfect person that came through at another time. And now we're going to have at least teaching or knowledge or wisdom about the situation, probably because we have opportunities to reflect, to go within, to use our own wisdom. We're going to be moving into this knowledge that we have, maybe we didn't know. And it's wisdom through experience, meaning there's some things we've gone through that are informing these next couple of weeks. And now we have a pair of sevens. There's an alert here. So things are not as they appear, Seven of Cups, that's a facade. In general, from the position of two sevens, that usually means wisdom, alert, apply wisdom, or there will be something unpleasant. There's a creative new beginning here, or temptation, Ace of Wands. That's what these double sevens is saying. The other seven is the Pentacles, which means there's an alert to a facade, a mirror, glamour, some type of gas. We might have been unhealed, unawakened ideologically with the Five of Pentacles mirroring. And then there's the Page of Swords mirroring this other seven, which is Pentacles, meaning there's some type of strategy, agenda, tactic. We're probably late to recognizing that this is a delayed message. Something wasn't said or wasn't discerned quickly enough. We might have had a lot of options and we were seemed cold, perhaps. We might have been invited to something that was murky, not formed, unclear, and this energy wasn't able to navigate, negotiate with us because probably we weren't approachable, accessible, agreeable, amenable. But hey, if it's lacking in intention, that's what you get. Yes, okay. So something here wanted to get into a connection with that, some type of foundation that could be celebrated, some type of formalized or recognized union in whatever way, friendship, relationship, whatever. It's not feeling purely congenial. However, there's self-interest or it looks other than how it seems. And there might have been some intentions too. There's some metadata here because it can mean a new priest, a new teacher, a new teaching, or frankly, we left somebody that was unhealed. So sometimes when that happens, I'll be honest, it could mean there was a misattribution, definitely with the Seven of Cups. Mislabel, misjudge, misperceive, misuse, mistreat. You know, if you're a healer, sometimes you attract people that need healing, and there may be some love feelings, congenial, filial, whatever, what have you. It can get confusing without a clear scope or firm boundaries. And sometimes your boundaries don't get firm until you have a few false starts, misconnections, a few oopsies. For a practitioner with high ethics, morals, that's easy to navigate. Something here snuck away from an ordained spot, whether it was a union, a throne, a platform, a pulpit, they snuck away from it. Either that or it was false, and then they moved into some type of confusion. They got stuck on the road, and the road is to a creative new beginning. You know what this is telling me? That the universe called whomever we're connected to here to grow. And I am going to talk specifically about relationships because it's seventh house, Libra, seventh house. Libra is partnerships, unions, relationships. Although, frankly, the relationship should be with ourselves, our higher self, even if it's being mirrored back to us through another person. And it'll shift after next month, it'll shift. Okay. We'll go back to talking about other things than relationships. And clarifying what this new teaching, new teacher is. Message on the other side. Yeah, okay. So there. They should have known better, and coulda, shoulda, woulda is, language I dislike, but it wasn't clear that okay, yeah, it wasn't clear that they needed some teaching, because what they got was just a false start, a failed connection, and we should have been an example worth following, a story worth telling. Because that was an energy that was coming out of their womb. Sometime in the recent past and the distant past, they were probably a caterpillar, and now they're a butterfly. But we'll see over the next week, something gets stripped. Over the last week, the beginnings of delayed message were anchoring, receiving. Yeah, so this is a teaching here is creating some conflict. There needs to be some wisdom. There might be the need for a guru, for a guide. If there's karma to expedite, it's going to need to be lessened. That's a path that we need to walk ourselves, however, or the path that the other person, I'm saying we, but that usually when there's karma that needs to be dissipated, it's a path we walk ourselves even if we have a guide. For instance, you may inherit some funds, you go to your advisor, they give you an investment to make. If you invest that money and you lose, even though somebody else advised you, you're still responsible, kind of deal. There needs to be an awakening here, and something needs to be called out. We might need to be called out, or we might need to call out. We might need to do the calling. So we have a double knight. There's a pair of knights here. Because this other side, they're going through a karmic lesson because they're trying to be prepared for a material blessing. I know I just made that an investment example. It's not always like, I just wanted to give you the example of we're responsible for our own choices, even if we were advised. We're accountable even if we're not responsible. I mean, we're always the one in accountability, even if it's not our responsibility. That's part of ownership. So we have a double knight that can talk about a convergence, some type of envoy, meaning a meeting, an assembly. I'm hearing the word divine assembly, and that is true with the judgment and the tower. That typically means conflict resolution, but it can come through the supernal, through the divine, through the higher ups, the very tippity top, even if it's out of this world, like the hierarchy of heaven, some type of angelic watcher. And I am hearing the word Grigori. I need so much more to be comfortable talking about that, but I'm just putting that out there. And I'm not talking about Grigori as in the Gregorian calendar. I'm talking about Grigori as in the watches. The other side is under some type of watchtower, sentinel. So a pair of knights can talk about envoy, divine assembly, can talk about conflict or convergence of some type, comings and goings, events. This is supposed to be the lifetime where this energy that is mirroring us starts to get out of the lower realms of divine service into the higher realms. So it's less so carrying out the grand orchestration or the great plan as much as it is being one with the all that is, the all that was, the all that ever will be, being part of the universal fabric of creation versus carrying out individual mechanisms of it. If that lands, great. If it doesn't, great. There's some type of supreme authority here that's issuing orders and commands. We have the order, I'm hearing Ophanim, which is the thrones and the cherubim. So there is some kind of universal supernal. There's the absolute reality is here. It's bearing upon this timeline. So it's not about the choices where they didn't know they could have went left or right. It's not about any one individual timeline. This is about their eternal soul. This is about their eternal life, the aggregate of everything that has been and that will come to be, whether in the spirit or in the flesh. I know we're going there. I know we're going there. And Venus usually talks about getting ready for that supernal timeline, meaning we have to go through all the little human experiences so that we can become a love ascended being. And once we start working above the lower chakras and moving from the heart, we get to kind of speed up the queue, not necessarily jump the queue. We were probably supposed to contain a situation. We're going to come to learn that we feel traumatized. That might be why we withdrew our energy, to be honest, because it was murky and confusing, and we weren't going to do that. We decided to get up from the table because what we wanted wasn't being offered. And maybe it's not about love not being served, probably most likely. But the situation's turned around. We're being called back to attend to a situation because that wish can be granted now. And the solution is present and it's accessible. However, we've kind of moved on, so it's hard to spin the block. That's us. Because at the time we were there, we probably needed to start teaching, and now we can start loving. The two aren't separate, but as a healer, sometimes they're an assignment. They're not anything other than that. I wanted to know why we had 2 nights with the tower, because that means a little bit of warfare or strikes. Something was suspended, which was the promise of material abundance, or a promise was coming into the physical. And it's flanked by a couple threes. So there was triangulation, but something's come forward. It's around the corner. We have this promise of heart's desires here. You know, there's a lot for us now, but we have to return to somewhere that we've left, okay? Where we've kind of withdrawn our energy, evolved past, matured past. It's not necessarily that we have to go back to a former place, some former person that we were, but we need to return to the scene where we were once let down, left, wanting. It was insufficient. It was not adequate. It was quite unpleasant or perhaps even distasteful. There's recognition of a cycle and a power and a door opening. Could the other side, whatever energy is matching us, and it's going to happen within the next 2 weeks. There's still a promise here. There's still destiny here in this cycle. So this energy matching us or mirroring us is going to ascend. Maybe not completely out of the flesh, but in terms of, yeah, ability to tap into, yeah, we're getting orders to return. You know, you might just come across our path with this pair of knights. It's before this other side was under some type of karmic cycle, 5 of Wands. So there is a message coming through, and there's love between us, King and Queen of Hearts, but our backs are to each other. And we even have the Four of Cups, which and Four of Hearts within this deck. La Vecchia Signora, excuse me. La Vera Sibilla is the Cupid. Cupidity. That's what this is, cupidity. So there was some self-interest on our side. That's probably why we walked on. But it honestly, I'm gonna say it this way. It was rather we needed self-interest, so we detached because we needed strength, courage, and wisdom, emotional fortitude. So something was bringing up lower shadow energies, lower nature, and we chose to be empowered, to have strength, courage, and wisdom, emotional fortitude. And not only were we losing patience, but we detached. The strength combined with the temperance means detaching. Yet we have this fidelity. There's still fidelity here. Something has it still remains. Disgrazia, but here's where the other side is. La nemica disgrazia. So the spitefulness in their heart is being mirrored back to them. And very suddenly they're going to realize what was thrown away, or I don't. A lack of action is an action. A lack of a decision is a decision. So this is starting. Deralanti. There was something was fumbled, missed, and this energy is in their feelings about it. I'm hearing a conversation that's rather unpleasant. The narrative that I just heard was something to the effect of us saying, like, I know I was inaccessible, unapproachable, unreachable, but I require individuals that come forward to be clear on their needs and intentions. And we also inform them that, like, listen, I'm aware you need some common, ordinary, basic energy, and you can go find that elsewhere. With me, you need refinement and elegance. That's not how I was approached. So again, this is a general reading. This is how my intuition and my guides communicate with me. It doesn't have to exactly verbatim apply to everybody in participation here. I just want to say, like attracts like, real recognizes real. So in effect, in essence, because of how each play-by-play went, this energy matching us, mirroring us, corporeal or otherwise, energy, entity, enemy, or ideology, it missed us. It couldn't see us. Its eyes were covered, was covered. The eyes were covered here because there was a vibrational mismatch. Okay? Now there's healing on this other side, and it's happening now. And there's a vectoring here, goddess vector, and it's thoroughly confirmed. It's a supernal one. It comes from on high. It's the overriding vector is present. Temperance with the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands has a mirroring vector card, which gives the possibility of a vector, which is the Three of Wands. So we have the whole thing. We have the overriding vector present, and the trigger for the vector is here. So all we need to do is remain detached but open. If we spell it out and share what it is, something might happen. A mystery is about to be revealed, and it's already starting. The energy went into it about a week ago. It was mounted. We've been under some type of divine protection. There might have even been some spiritual projection or energetic manipulation, energy projection, spiritual manipulation. There's a mystery keeper here, and we're in this energy of our heart's desires opening up. We have a clean, pure heart. we might have done something in terms of setting an intention or imposing or invoking a rite of cleanliness, purity. Here, Nine of Cups is also being chosen. It means on the other side, in the eternal life, we've made it already. We've accomplished eternal life already outside of the flesh. It's being mirrored or anchored or echoed or communicated to this mirroring energy, whomever we're connected to or matching. And whomever could be our future higher self or another person. Most likely another person, because we've had the Four of Wands come out in the clarifiers, we've had the Two of Cups and the Temperance come out in the guidance already. And we're getting a divine assist into the areas of where we can't see. So even though Venus will be transiting the 12th house in about 2 weeks, once we move into Scorpio season, there's some type of support here. The same energy of the 12th house is getting a divine assist. Jupiter is the divine assist. We have Jupiter here in the 12th house or in Pisces with the cards here because we have the moon and the Nine of Cups. It says that if we communicate our intentions or our feelings at least, Lamante, this other side would be like, oh, I fumbled something. I almost destroyed it. I almost muerte, mort. So that it perhaps under duress or in a moment of divine clarity, since there's nothing left to lose. I said nothing left to lose, not nothing to lose, nothing left to lose. Yeah, because this other energy is looking at melancholia, more delays, more heartache, more grief. This is all burning down already. Not adding fuel to the fire, but it is a little bit throwing good energy after bad. Forgive me, but that's frank and appropriate. Something happened a week ago. It's almost as if our heart opened up or we blessed them or gifted them. Yeah. And they're kind of stuck wishing. So spiri prigioni. Prigioni means stuck or in a prison. So spiri, wanting, hoping, wishing, praying, conjuring up some wounding and yearning from the past. When we're in this Gran Signore Dottore energy, so we're like double crown. Speranza, we refined. And like I said, I know I spoke very colorfully there, but I said, it's almost whatever's offered to us in the past was inelegant and unrefined. This is so spitty. It's the refined elegance. Okay, so same card flew out. So this is the jumper, and this is a mic drop here. This I let that out. Something that's going to be announced or put forward. Something needs to be exchanged. La da da da. Some kind of receipt. Something has to be shown. Okay, so we're needing enlightenment, a breakthrough, or something to be canceled out completely. So we're needing a full stop. And something now is within its power. Broadening the horizons is the chariot with the world card. Yeah, because there's something here at the heart of the matter that needs to come out. Precioso. something's like right there on the table, and this other energy that's mirroring us, we got if it's a future self, if it's a higher self, if it's another person. Before it was the king and queen of hearts, now it's the king and queen of diamonds. So that's a good sign. And there's foresight now, when before there was fumble, fumble, fumble everywhere. Delirante. Now we have Belvedere. The foresight is Belvedere. Delirante is the delirium. It's the fumble, the missed opportunity cards. And we already have the Three of Wands as well. So something is moving into its divine power, whatever energy here is matching us, mirroring us. Because we were needing this to come to an end, period, point blank, and the story don't matter, don't care. And this other side was being secretive, not necessarily sneaky, but they needed to open up the kimono, sacerdote. They were hiding behind their cloak, their robes, or whatever, their what have you. This is going to be put to bed because we're feeling stuck. That's the only reason why we moved on, move forward, because we weren't going to remain disempowered, not with the strength card clarifying that. And something, again, Two of Pentacles is going to be attended to here. Something is going to be attended to with this. And it's because our path needs to be aligned. Only what's fair will come out to bear here. So we could have a Leo rising. Mars in Leo, Mars in the fifth house, Leo rising. We could also have an Aries rising here. Mars in the first house. Mars in Aries. Something's gonna try to align the timeline to restore something that was lost. And we've contained it. It's been contained as well, but I think it's been contained by karma. The laws of the universe didn't want this to get too far gone for whatever reason. It's not clear to me. Something for a long time has been wanting, hoping, wishing, praying behind the scenes to reconcile or recover something. There's a 2-month timeline here. So I think there's 2 months left on this cycle to attend to it and correct it, or it will be lost. It will be canceled out. And it's saying it's coming from our prayers, but the prayer energy is in this other side's hands right now. So that could mean that until we both prayed about it, we were the first to pray, or we were the first to petition in earnest the universe, the divine. And then once this other side prayed, the universe intervened and interceded. Technically, is the Two of Pentacles. Although the Five of Swords came out before, I called it self-interest. That could be intervention. The Five of Swords is intervention. It can also just be self-interest, a short-sighted individual, a lose-lose situation, some bitterness, love-hate enemy energy, a frenemy. Two of Pentacles is attending to the situation. It's intercession, not intervention. It also is to seize the time, situation turning around, tables turning even. It's mirroring some type of containment. So the way this reads is that the universe contained something on our behalf. Karma gave an assist here. Because there's happily ever after, or something that was intended by the divine, Ten of Cups, some type of fulfillment, probably with another person. That's the long-term relationship card. And it's because our path the calling on our life, our destiny, our spirit karma life path destiny, and needed to be aligned. And as such, the universe intervened. So perhaps we were scary. Perhaps we were some type of Capricorn rising or Capricorn energy was bearing upon us, page with the devil card. Page of Cups and the devil card could mean a Cancer descendant, Venus in the 4th house and the 7th house. On our end, we were ready and waiting. On the other end, there was some type of timing that needed to happen. Yeah, well, here's what the time says now. It's time for a reunion of some kind. And there's been lots of delays to this reunion, but it's here. I just heard the word your soul reached out several weeks ago. I finally had authorization to come forward. But that's going to strike some of us perfectly, and others of us are going to be like, huh? Say what? Somebody might have their Mars in Capricorn, Mars in the 10th house, Capricorn. Some of us have angelic assistance, spiritual assistance going on. There was some type of alert that went off with an egregore, some type of thought form, life form was working through. Over the next month or so, there's going to be some collaboration, cooperation to close out our karmic cycle. 10 of Wands, 3 of Pentacles. It's related to nurturing and creating, conception, gestation. Others of us are going to be seeing that over the next 3 months or so, there's going to be deliberation around some type of bondage, some type of fear, illusion, ignorance, falsity, or a path that was right with karma because something had to be worked through and worked out, and it wasn't as it appeared. Really, I'm just going to say a friend had more than friendly feelings towards us, and they in their own mind might have been saying that or showing that, or but it wasn't being picked up for whatever reason, probably something on both of our sides, but they needed to be about what they were about. They needed to speak out loud, declare their intentions, define their mission, state their objective. They didn't, they hadn't. So we didn't get any matching energy in terms of pairings. We're going to be pulling from Amanda Lovelace's Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle. I don't know the publisher. The artwork is by Janina Madera. So, yeah, wings. We never needed those wings to fly. We were waiting on the other side and we had to leave eventually because something was love hate, tongue in cheek. So we did take a chance. This is what we did in the past. In the future, we'll realize that we didn't need to wait. We didn't need them for the thing that was supposed to come. And the moment we let go and allow them to do whatever, it came back around. Because this other side, whatever that is, they had to go through a karmic cycle and something lovely came out of that. But we were connected. That's the thing we didn't sense. That's the thing we didn't see. So once we went on to heal ourselves, they were able to heal Yeah. We needed to go about putting time, energy, effort, and attention into our passions. This is Mars and the fifth house. So putting energy and effort and attention into our passions gave us the wings we needed to fly. We never needed them. It's been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing us to do so. If anything resonated deeply with you, go ahead and smash that like button. You're always free to comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, book a consult, send a donation. Until we meet again, until we read again. Namaste, Dandava, and Ashe. Sayonara, Das Vidanya, Avida Zane. Take good care. Bye-bye.